I've always kind of thought that there must have been something originally wrong with the 6-screw trem for people to automatically assume that 2-point trems and a Floyd Rose would be more stable. Now I think this guitar in particular should be donated to science and studied.
This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses.
Because really, when I play this guitar, I kind of think I don't need a Floyd Rose at all. I could do most kind of Floyd Rosey tricks with this. It's super stable. And I can even do like the trem flutter thing, which I thought was reserved for those with a Floyd Rose and those that are willing to go through the trouble of a double locking trem. So you can see that this is, the trem angle is as such. It has 3 springs and you can see the tension there. This is actually strung up 10s if you want to look at the action, but sort of a medium action. Yeah, if you depress all the way, it's like a tritone. Dun, dun. But it seems to return to pitch really, really well. And it's kind of made me think, what on earth do you need a Floyd Rose for? The main thing that I like a Floyd Rose for is that you can do this kind of trick with it, where if you do that, you can get that really cool flutter. And I used to hear Steve Vai and Joe Satriani doing this and wonder, how are they doing that? Essentially, by letting the pressure off, and you can do it in a couple of ways. Either you can kind of depress and shake your kind of finger along the top. But I think the main thing is that you want a quick release so that it goes up and down quickly, and the springs kind of... I didn't realise you could do that on a vintage trem if it's set up right. So I think what's important is probably to have the balance on these springs and also have it so that it's not flush to the body. Of course, it needs to be slightly floating, which I think was the original design of these. Like, they're designed to be not flush against the body. They are designed to be on a bit of an edge. One thing I can't quite do is bottom it out like you can a Floyd Rose. So it is going down like a tritone. I have to be careful where I put my trem arm as well, because if I go there, my volume knob is going to stop me. So that seems like a little bit of a design flaw with the Strat in particular. That's going. If I pull the arm out a little bit further, I can actually get a bit more leverage on it. But even with that amount of trem abuse, this particular guitar is staying in tune, I think, remarkably well. Let's just tune it back. Another thing that you want to bear in mind is for this to work well, you need to have your nut cut well and lubricated well. So basically, when things go out of tune with the trem, as I understand it, is that these strings move slightly in the groove, and if the nut is not cut and lubricated kind of very well, it starts to kind of get stuck on the return. So that's why strings might return sharp or flat. Yeah, in terms of actually playing a trem, I find the vintage 6-screw trem to be most pleasant to have your hand on. Like, it seems to me like these strings are at the perfect height with this style of bridge. So for me, that is the perfect trem. Like, I wouldn't want the admin of a Floyd Rose. I've had Floyd Roses in the past, and those actually, I've found, develop their own kind of pitch inconsistencies anyway. I don't know if you've experienced the same thing, but over time, I think basically the claws can start to wear down and the post can start to move, as my buddy Chris Elphick tells me, as well as the nut. You can start to wear kind of significant grooves into the locking nuts. I think Leo Fender's original design with this was actually surprisingly, well, not even surprisingly, because all of his designs tend to be, I think, pretty good. Almost as if he knew what he was doing. Very impressive, I think. This is actually a Wilkinson trem, so one of the kind of improvements it has is that it's a non-screw arm. You kind of push it in, and then there's an Allen key where you can push it. I think that is better for me than having the screw. But yeah, I think for me, I think that is an ideal kind of trem. Can't necessarily do quite as many theatrics as a Floyd Rose, but I just need to learn to play with a trem, really. What's your favourite trem? Feel free to let others know in the comments. I really like your normal 6-screw Strat trem. I think it's a bit underrated. I think it's a bit sensitive and is definitely very dependent on setup, but if a guitar is set up well with one, I think you can do some pretty wild things with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Cheers for stopping by. Oh, I'm using the Marshall 2203 preset that I just put up into the Gumroad folder if you want to check that one out. It's kind of fun to play.